Derby County have been linked with a move for that of Millwall goalkeeper Anthony Patterson. Obviously, he is only on loan at Millwall at the moment from that of Sunderland. Derby County aren't the only club interested. Coventry, West Brom and Hull are also linked to the goalkeeper, and it wouldn't surprise me if Millwall want to retain him as well. Now, I sit here today and I look at this move and I go, oh, that's not going to happen. But obviously we know this is Derby County, and Jacob Zetterstrom, should he go on to have a good World Cup, it probably opens that door for Anthony Patterson to come and join the football club. It opens the door for him to come in and be number one, because for me, Vickers isn't good enough to be number one. O'Donnell is good standing, but not a number one in my opinion. So it's going to be interesting to see how it develops. Now, for those of you guys who have not done so already, this is the Derby Digest. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, but shall we digest it? Now, this news comes from the Sunderland Echo, and it states Derby are one of many sides monitoring the situation of on-loan goalkeeper Anthony Patterson, along with Coventry, West Brom and Hull, and the source is the Sunderland Echo. Now, as mentioned, I don't know. In terms of this one, I would obviously love us to keep Jacob Zetterstrom. Of course I would. I think everybody's sort of looking at this summer and sort of going, how are we going to fund our business? Because I think everybody will agree the plan this summer was Patrick Agyemang goes to the World Cup. Patrick Agyemang has a good World Cup. Patrick Agyemang gets sold for 20-30 million. Now, unfortunately, that isn't going to happen because Patrick Agyemang did his Achilles start of April, which will keep him out until December. Now, that then leaves Derby with maybe two players that have a real value. And in that sense, Jacob Zetterstrom is one. In my opinion, Sondre Langas is the other. I do also think you could probably put a mention out for Max Johnston and Derry Merkin potentially, maybe even Oscar Frulo, but I don't think there's multi-millions in them like there is in a Zetterstrom or a Langas, where I think you could easily get 10 million each, if not more, depending on the situation. And that's sort of where I come to this Anthony Patterson situation. And in my opinion, I think Anthony Patterson would be a good replacement for that of Zetterstrom. Is it the replacement that you really want? Probably not. Do you really want to lose Zetterstrom? Again, probably not. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just have to make a call that is for the best of the team. I think Patterson's a great keeper. Do I think he's as good as Zetterstrom? I certainly think he's up there. I personally believe Zetterstrom's the best keeper in the Championship, and everyone can have their own opinion on that. But for me, that is just how I feel. So it's always going to be a bit of a downgrade when you feel that way about something, but it's going to be interesting to sort of see if Zetterstrom goes, do we go out and get Patterson? Do we go and look abroad again? Because we bought Zetterstrom in for up to 2.2 million. I think it was 1.5 straight up with add-ons. And I'm going to be completely honest, going and getting Patterson, I don't think it's going to be a majorly expensive deal. And I say that because I believe his contract at Sunderland isn't actually that long. I think it's maybe a year or another 2 years on top of that. So goalkeepers never go for silly money. Let's not beat around the bush. But they always hold a value. Let's not beat around a bush. Yes, you can bring in keepers for on free transfers, O'Donnell, Vickers, etc. But 9 times out of 10, your goalkeeper is going to cost you a little bit of money. Nothing too major, but there's always a value there. Now, if we do look at Anthony Patterson, 26 years old, born in Newcastle upon Tyne, England under 21 caps, obviously at 26. They were a few years ago. And if we look at his 25-26 season, he made 17 appearances, conceding 15 goals, keeping 7 clean sheets, which I actually think is not too bad. But if we go back to last season, where he was the number one goalkeeper for Sunderland, 45 appearances, 45 conceded and 14 clean sheets. So to be fair to you, he's probably had a better year all round this year, which is decent at the end of the day. Now, if we look at his career as a whole, obviously spent a lot of time at Sunderland, on loan at the likes of Notts County. But just look at that. It is unbelievable. 279 appearances, 383 conceded, 76 clean sheets, 7 yellows and 25,000 minutes. It is It's crazy. Obviously, some of that is like PL2 appearances and stuff like that. So you sort of have to take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt. Transfer market values at him around €8 million. But I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think they get €8 million, especially when you look at Kelleher from Liverpool, who went to Brentford for, I believe it was around £12.5 million. I am intrigued to see how it develops, especially with Derby County having such a positive goalkeeper situation at the moment. When you look at the likes of Zetterstrom, when you look at the likes of Vickers and O'Donnell, I think we have a decent goalkeeping outfit there. You even look at some of the keepers coming through. Arlo Ty and Charlie Mountain have just been called up to, I believe, England's under 15s. You've got Harley Price. There's a lad called Christian. I can't say his surname. So we've got a lot of talent coming through in terms of that goalkeeper position, and it's going to be sort of interesting to see how that develops. I personally believe that goalkeepers never get their debut at their home team 9 times out of 10. It's usually a worst case scenario that they get in. So it will be interesting to see sort of how it all shakes up and who potentially will jump in. There's a lot of work to do for Derby this summer. Patterson could be just one on the list, but Patterson, for me, I see it as more of a replacement signing rather than a signing for signing's sake, if that makes sense. Like, I look at Max Lowe and he's coming in with no reason for an outgoing, whereas I believe Patterson would come in because Zetterstrom's moving on, if that makes sense. Now, it is a weird position to be in at the end of the day. I think we can all agree, where you don't really know what's going to happen in terms of the squad and the team and sort of where John Eustace is going to be next year, because at the end of the day, I think we've got 12 or 13 players moving out over the course of the next 8 weeks. Well, it's not even 8 weeks, it's 6 weeks now, isn't it? And with that situation, it sort of puts you in a bit of a difficult spot of you've got to replace all those players, especially the 5 loanees who have been pivotal at the back end of the season, and you've got to replace them, and then you've got to find players who are as good, if not better, in order to step up and sort of take things to that next level for me. And that's going to be difficult if we don't have the funds to do so. That's one of the reasons why I am anticipating us losing. Zetterstrom. I am anticipating that Sondre Langas may move on to pastures new. It's not necessarily something I agree with or something I want, but it's definitely something that could happen for me across the course of this summer. Now, obviously, you guys can let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. We did a full transfer update video, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I'm not entirely sure when this video is coming out. But we did a full update video discussing these 2 links with Max Lowe and Anthony Patterson, as well as discussing information on that of Bobby Clark, David Ozo, etc. So if you haven't done so already, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. This has been the Derby Digest. We've digested the latest move for that of Anthony Patterson, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.